Hello, welcome back to ShropshireStar.com. My name's Jonny Drury. I'm at the Montgomery Waters Meadow with Salop correspondent Ollie Westbury for the latest part of our Salop season review. Now we're going to be looking at strikers. Now, Ollie, again, Steve Cottrell utilised the loan market in this position right back at the start of the campaign. But we're just going to talk about someone who didn't play that many games, had a really good season for Salop last year, big things expected this time. Unfortunately, like many Salop players, suffered a really bad injury at the start. Dan Udoh, how big of a blow is he?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a massive blow, isn't it? Losing someone, can't remember off the top of my head exactly how many goals he scored the season before, but he'd scored an awful lot of goals. He was a main player, made an awful lot of appearances. So, the team really missed not having his goals in the side. I think that's one thing that you can say for certain. So, a real shame for Dan Udoh to pick up that injury so early on in the campaign against Bristol Rovers, and it feels like an age ago. That does, an absolute age ago.
It certainly does. Looking at we'll start with the loan signings. Christian Saydee came in from Bournemouth. I think he made an appearance for Bournemouth at the start of the season in the Carabao Cup. Was spoken about really highly. He's come to Shrewsbury this season. Now I don't know his specific goal tally. I'm sure you can educate me, Ollie. But he has done really well for Salop this time. At times looked really, really sharp and a really potent threat up top.
Yeah, I thought Christian did really well. I thought that probably his goal tally in the end probably doesn't quite reflect the season that he had, because you just missed him when he wasn't there. He kind of linked the play up, he held the ball up, he brought others into play, and I felt like he was. Somebody said to me early on in the season that he played as number 10 before, and you could see that he quite liked to drop deep. He uses his body well, got great touch, and he. Real quality as well at times. You did go through a period where he did rattle them in for a while, and the last probably 6 to 8 weeks he just struggled to get going. I think he was struggling a bit with injury himself, pretty much every other member of the Salop squad, to be honest, at one point of the season or another, and he just struggled to get going and to kind of get that momentum that I suppose you need in those final stages of the season, which was, I suppose, disappointing.
Absolutely. His other loanee up top, Rob Street, came in from Crystal Palace. Probably took a little longer to get going, but scored some really crucial goals. I'm not sure who he was against, but he scored a great goal here a few weeks ago. And I know Steve Cottrell spoke very highly of him in the press about him as a character as well. He seems to have made a real impact here in the Meadow.
I would say Rob Street probably is in the most improved category. When you compare the player who arrived to the player who kind of left, I think those last few games he looked like he was really coming into his own. I'm not sure if it was game time. I'm not sure if it's just the experience of playing in League One for an extended period. But he just really looked like he'd just found something. He was holding the ball up well. He was really putting in a shift, and he demonstrated that he has got a turn of pace if he needed to. There's a couple of times I think on the last game of the season at Lincoln, he just completely and utterly burnt off the centre half, and was unlucky not to win a free kick in a really dangerous area. So I think Rob Street has improved an incredible amount actually, and he would probably go down as my most improved player of the season. The difference between the start and the end I thought was stark. So that goes to a credit to the coaching staff for working with him to help him get better, and I think it's just an all-round good story. I'm really pleased for Rob, because when I spoke to him at times I thought he was a really nice lad.
We're going to have to make a little trophy, the Ollie Westbury most improved player.
Something like
have to get one made up for next season, but this season it's going to Rob Street. Looking at the other strikers, Ryan Bowman, second season at the football club. Bowman probably would have liked to have played more sort of games than he did, but scored some really important goals at times.
The thing about Ryan Bowman is he's gone out for a goal, hasn't he? That is one thing that he certainly does have. He just seems to find himself in the right place at the right time. I think it was a frustrating season for him, and he'd probably be the first to admit that. Just in a minute sense, probably didn't play as many minutes as he would have liked, which is. And he picked up a couple of red cards. I mean, I'm not sure if the one that he picked up against, I think it was Cambridge on Boxing Day, was actually a red card or not. But he did pick up a couple of red cards. The one at Barnsley he kind of picked up for. It just kind of felt quite a bit of a needless one, and it kind of meant that he was suspended then for another 2 games. So it meant that Shrewsbury were kind of under the pump in terms of squad numbers. And yeah, I think Bowman did okay. He did okay. the one thing that you can always say about him is that you feel like he's got a goal in him, and that's one thing that's for sure. So I think he'll be, I think he would have liked to have played a little bit more though.
We didn't know whether to put Rekeil Pyke in the striker category or the right wing back category, because
he's midfielders. He played on the right wing as well. Yeah, no, we know where to put him.
He's another one who's done a real job in different positions, but we've put him in the striker category. And he's another one who's been a bit of a utility man and an asset really for Steve Cottrell in that way.
Yeah, I think Steve Cottrell said the other day that perhaps Pyke's maybe best season since he's been here, since he's been at the club. Yeah, I think Rekeil Pyke's season has been, he's kind of been more of an impact substitution than a mainstay in the starting 11 really. And he has played kind of all over the place up front. He's scored a few goals, a few important ones. And yeah, he's done okay. He's done okay. He's not been brilliant, but he's done all right. He's a decent squad player, and he's had an all right season.
And finally, we'll finish on one of the youngsters, Tom Bloxham. Sort of big hopes around Salop for Bloxham. Burst onto the scene probably two and a bit years ago now, but yeah, another one who's played his part as well.
Yeah, young players develop at different times, don't they? And I don't think you can ever predict how from one season to the next the young player is going to go and how they're going to build on it. So I think that Tom Bloxham probably came into the frame a lot more as Shrewsbury's injury struggles picked up, and probably had more opportunity in the second part of the campaign than he did in the first. At times he showed real glimpses of being able to beat a man, and there is definitely something there. There is absolutely definitely something there, but I think probably from a consistency point of view he probably needs to do that a little bit more often if he wants to nail down that place in the starting 11.